An update tonight from the ABC 15 investigators. A violent arrest, knocking a man unconscious at a quinceañera.
The officers repeatedly punched and kneed him in the head, then wrote false reports about what happened.
ABC 15 chief investigator Dave Biskobing broke the story, but you know Dave's never done after just one report.
YouTube won't let me show you Monterez's real, true art. You know, he's commemorated on this coin, this cop coin, for being cruel. Maybe it's for dismembering or maiming or killing somebody. I'm not sure what they're commemorating, but you know how cops are. It's something brutal and cruel for sure. And he's the best. He's on that coin. Well, YouTube won't let me show you, but just so you know, he knees this guy in the face and in the neck. He's just aggressively pushes him for no reason, beats the crap out of him. It's a totally innocent person, by the way.
He's been digging to find out more, and he's found one of those officers has a history of complaints and has his name on a special coin that celebrates police violence.
Now, a few things up front here. One, this case is now a lawsuit. Two, Mesa police officials don't think their officers did anything wrong. And three, the officer who pushed that man, he has a current internal investigation for another issue. He has past use of force cases, and his name is on the challenge coin you're about to see. In October 2022, Daniel Barraza was left bloody, beaten, and unconscious.
I think he's unconscious, so.
Here's how it began.
What's up, man? What's going on? I don't know. Apparently there's a fight or something. Want to have a seat? We'll talk about it?
No, I don't need a fight. I don't need a seat. What do you need?
Hey, explain what happened with the quinceañera.
Ma'am, yeah.
We got told to him. We got told him before fighting.
Okay.
All right. We're going to talk to him.
Okay, now, the other man.
The officer with the push is Rudy Monterez. Records show he's been with Mesa PD for 7 years, and so far he's been internally investigated 7 times. This is what's called concise employee history. It's 2 pages showing basics about misconduct complaints. Let's start with the most recent. This one is blacked out because it's a current internal investigation. We don't know yet what it's for. Before that, in 2023, he got verbal counseling for use of force. In 2020, more verbal counseling for conduct unbecoming. And in 2018, he got a written reprimand from a case that was a pretty big scandal. Surveillance video showed several knocking a man unconscious at an apartment complex. That case settled for $350,000. That victim's attorney also discovered there was a challenge coin. The front said, "Doing it right, despite the hype." The back had the phrase "Inglorious Bastards" and the names of several officers involved in that 2018 case. And that includes Officer Monterez.
New developments in an ABC 15 investigation.
ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius reported on that coin back in 2021 as part of a larger story.
What's unclear at this point is exactly who came up with the idea for the challenge coin and distributed it, and how many Mesa officers, if any, were carrying it around.
Now back to the quinceañera. No officers were disciplined. Mesa PD found all of their use of force was in policy. Records show the officers were there because police got an unknown trouble call. In the parking lot, a man told them he was punched by Daniel. But what the officers didn't know before approaching him was that other man was uninvited and accused of inappropriately touching underage girls on the dance floor, including Daniel's goddaughter.
That's why you just have to cooperate with us. We came at you super chill and trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm investigator Dave Biskobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
And Dave will continue digging into this case and follow the lawsuit as it moves through the courts.
Ask yourself, if you ran over a motorcyclist and ran from the scene and you were in a cop car and you were a cop on duty, do you think you'd be arrested or just placed on administrative leave? Well, you're right about that. Your answer is absolutely right. You would only be placed on administrative leave, just like this guy.
We're getting a better understanding of the chaos that unfolded last week after a motorcycle collided with a Mobile police car. Now, tonight, we have obtained the 911 transcripts from 7 calls that flooded in after the deadly wreck. Now, as you're about to see, some of the callers claim the officer left the scene.
Did they get the person that hit him?
Yeah, it's the cop. The cop was coming through the light.
The police hit him?
He's up there. Yeah.
No. This was the frantic scene seconds after a motorcycle collided with a Mobile police car at a busy intersection. Tonight, 911 transcripts are detailing what other witnesses reported shortly after the deadly impact. 67-year-old Robert Sayan was killed in the crash. It was a hectic scene Friday night at the intersection of Ziegler Boulevard and Cody Road. People yelling and screaming, angry at what they saw.
He went around this girl car and hit that man. I was behind her and he kept going.
He sped around me, he hit the motorcycle and kept going. At least two of the people
They saw him hit the motorcyclist and keep going.
who called 911 backed up those claims. The first call came in at 7:02. The caller told the 911 dispatcher, quote, "There's been a bad motorcycle accident," and that the man was knocked off his motorcycle. The dispatcher asked what was the color of the other car. The caller said they didn't know because the driver kept going and that they couldn't see them. After being transferred to Mobile Fire Rescue, the caller was telling someone in the background, quote, "The police hit him and kept going." A fourth 911 call comes in a minute later. The caller tells the operator they're at the corner of Cody and Ziegler and says, quote, "I just saw a police officer in a truck hit a motorcycle and keep going. He hit this man and kept going right in front of us." Surveillance video shows the officer coming down Ziegler, appearing not to slow down as he approached the yellow blinking lights, and his SUV goes out of frame after the collision. The traffic lights at the intersection were malfunctioning, flashing yellow on Ziegler and red on Cody. We're told a city worker was en route to fix the issue when the crash happened. Now, when our photographer first got on the scene Friday, he couldn't find the police car involved in the crash. He eventually located it almost a quarter-mile from the intersection. Now, while the investigation continues, the officer has been taken off the streets and placed on administrative duty.
Okay, well, placed on administrative duty, even though he killed a man in a hit-and-run accident. But I guess since he only ran a quarter of a mile, it's not, you know, he was covering his butt. Okay, this guy is either future law enforcement or past law enforcement. But either way, we're going to call him LARP, okay? LARP is his name.
He had guns on him. He had mace. He was calling me a thief and antagonizing me. It was terrifying.
I'm just gonna look. You go ahead and you open it up yourself.
I'm not clarifying anything for you.
Did you steal anything?
No. I don't even think I looked around.
This is Mika Prince, the woman who pressed record last Wednesday inside the Walgreens downtown on Pike.
He was approaching me, getting extremely close to me, uncomfortably close. Said he was going to put me in handcuffs.
Prince says this security guard, identified as Brian Vinegar, confronted and then
Vinegar
cornered her just before 6 o'clock.
Call them, please.
I'm giving you every option.
Here, I'll sit down while you call them.
An official police report shows it was indeed Mika who called 911. Adamant with authorities, she didn't put anything in her pockets. She was just there to get her medication. Mika was rolling as SPD interviewed her. And
we live in a police state, folks. And LARP here, check out LARP. Look what LARP has here. He's got a couple of magazines, just in case, you know.
He said that he was going to put me in cuffs and take me down to the ground. I don't know who this man is.
Stop walking away.
Or what?
You're going to get detained, and you're going to go to the ground.
And you're going to get sued.
Mika kept good on that promise, hiring attorney James Prescott. They're now taking legal action against Walgreens.
This is just bullying, plain and simple. It's also assault. And when we have large men basically playing cosplay military, intimidating young women.
That's why we call him LARP. He wants to be a cop. See, cops act like that all day, every day. Everywhere they go, they park right in the handicap spot and run on in there, and you know how they are.
We've gone too far.
Okay, let's pause this for a second and break down what's on him. I see 2 magazines, a pistol, there's a taser, he's got cuffs as well, and not one, but...
Check it out, he's got his cuffs in his hand, he's ready to go.
2 body cameras. Is all that really necessary for working inside a Walgreens?
He's got a much more tactical appearance than he probably needs working in retail.
So you're saying it's a bit much for a Walgreens?
I would say yes.
Looking for an unbiased reaction to this viral video, we turn to Max Anderson, who spent the past 2 decades working in private security.
Looking at his uniform, he's wearing a tactical vest. I've worn those at times when I've worked in like disaster response.
Max says what he witnessed was the opposite of de-escalation. He thinks guards like Vinegar give his profession a bad name.
It's bad for the industry as a whole because it portrays the private security industry as like, these aggressive, over-the-top wannabe cops that are abusing their power.
Here's what you need to do.
I literally came in here for my prescription.
Here are your choices.
And you guys are accusing me of stealing.
We've reached out to Walgreens with several questions, but all they'd give us in response via email is a single sentence, acknowledging the incident and confirming they are investigating. I also contacted the security firm Vinegar was allegedly working under, and we're still waiting to hear back from them.
Let's think about this for a second. Yes, Vinegar looks like a knucklehead, and he's all LARPed up. That's why we call him LARP. Cops are definitely knuckleheads. But we all know what's going on at Walgreens in these inner cities. And so there's some real crime. But is it so bad that they need a militarized knucklehead out there? Now that guy could have used a little bit of deductive reasoning and de-escalation. But hey, all right, don't hate me for saying this, but hey, he didn't go hands-on, and I'm not going to call him a bad apple. He's certainly a goofball, but we're just going to call him LARP, okay? LARP. Oh, you guys are awesome. Just as I was wrapping up this Bad Apple report, lo and behold, more bad apples fell from the bad apple tree. Can you imagine that? Oh, here we go again. So many bad apples, so little time. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Thanks for watching.